On the afternoon of November 24, 1971, a nondescript man calling himself Dan Cooper approached the counter of Northwest Orient Airlines in Portland, Oregon. He used cash to buy a one-way ticket on Flight 305, bound for Seattle, Washington. Thus began one of the great unsolved mysteries in FBI history. Cooper was a quiet man who appeared to be in his mid-40s, wearing a business suit with a black tie and white shirt. He ordered a drink, bourbon and soda, while the flight was waiting to take off. With a crew of 6 and 37 passengers aboard, Flight 305 left Portland on schedule at 2:50 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper handed a note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner, sitting in the jump seat directly behind Cooper. Assuming the note was a lonely businessman's phone number, Schaffner dropped the note unopened into her purse. Cooper then leaned toward her and whispered, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb," and wanted her to sit with him. The stunned stewardess did as she was told. Opening a cheap attaché case, Cooper showed her a glimpse of a mass of wires and red-colored sticks and demanded that she write down what he told her. Soon, she was walking a new note to the captain of the plane that demanded 4 parachutes and $200,000 in $20 bills, equivalent to $1,338,000 in 2021. Scott then contacted Northwest Flight Operations in Minnesota, and relayed the hijacker's demands. Cooper requests $200,000 in a knapsack by 5 p.m. He wants the money in negotiable American currency. For approximately 2 hours, Flight 305 circled Puget Sound to give Seattle Police and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, sufficient time to assemble Cooper's ransom money and parachutes, and to mobilize emergency personnel. At approximately 5:24 Pacific Standard Time, Captain Scott was informed the parachutes had been delivered to the airport, and notified Cooper they would soon be landing. Per Cooper's directive, Mucklow exited the aircraft through the front door, and retrieved the ransom money. When Mucklow returned, she carried the money bag past the seated passengers to Cooper, seated in the last row. Cooper then agreed to release the passengers. As the passengers debarked, Cooper inspected the money. After releasing the passengers in Seattle, Cooper then gave the cockpit crew his flight plan and directives: a southeast course toward Mexico City at the minimum airspeed. First officer informed Cooper the flight configuration Cooper had specified limited the aircraft's range to approximately 1,000 miles, 1,600 kilometers, so a second refueling would be necessary before entering Mexico. Cooper and the crew discussed options, and agreed on Reno-Tahoe International Airport as the refueling stop. Cooper further directed the aircraft take off with the rear exit door open and its air stair extended. At approximately 7:40 p.m., Flight 305 took off along with 2 F-106 fighters. After takeoff, Cooper told Mucklow to lower the aft staircase. Mucklow told Cooper and the flight crew she feared being sucked out of the aircraft. Cooper then told Mucklow he would lower the stairs himself, instructed Mucklow to go to the cockpit, to close the curtain partition and not to return. Mucklow was the last person to see the hijacker. At approximately 8 p.m., a cockpit warning light flashed, indicating the aft staircase had been activated. The pilot used the cabin intercom to ask Cooper if he needed assistance, but Cooper's last message was a one-word reply: "No." Mucklow used the cabin intercom to inform Cooper they were approaching Reno, and he needed to raise the stairs so the plane could land safely. Mucklow repeated her requests as the pilots made the final approach to land, but neither Mucklow nor the flight crew received a reply from the hijacker. At 11:02 p.m., with the aft staircase deployed, Flight 305 landed at Reno-Tahoe International Airport. Captain Scott searched the cabin, confirmed Cooper was no longer aboard, and after a 30-minute search, an FBI bomb squad declared the cabin safe. The hijacker was never identified, apprehended, or found. Eyewitnesses described Cooper as a white male in his mid-40s, with dark hair and brown eyes, wearing a black or brown business suit with a white shirt and a thin black tie, a black raincoat, and brown shoes. FBI agents found Cooper's black clip-on tie, his tie clip, and 2 of the 4 parachutes, one of which had been opened and 2 shroud lines cut from the canopy. Authorities interviewed eyewitnesses in Portland, Seattle and Reno. A series of composite sketches was developed. Neither of the Air Force F-106 pilots saw anything exit the airliner, either visually or on radar, nor did they see a parachute open. Initial extrapolations placed Cooper's landing zone within an area on the southernmost outreach of Mount St. Helens, a few miles southeast of Ariel, Washington, near Lake Merwin, an artificial lake formed by a dam on the Lewis River. Search efforts focused on Clark and Cowlitz counties. FBI agents and sheriff's deputies searched large areas of the heavily wooded terrain on foot and by helicopter. Neither Cooper nor any of the equipment he presumably carried was found. On February 10, 1980, 8-year-old Brian Ingram was vacationing with his family on the Columbia River at a beachfront known as Tina Bar, about 9 miles downstream from Vancouver, Washington, and 20 miles southwest of Ariel. He uncovered 3 packets of the ransom cash totaling around $5,800 as he raked the sandy riverbank to build a campfire. FBI technicians confirmed that the money was indeed a portion of the ransom, all arranged in the same order as when given to Cooper. On July 8, 2016, the FBI announced active investigation of the Cooper case was suspended. The 66-volume case file compiled over the 45-year course of the investigation will be preserved for historical purposes at FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. All of the evidence is open to the public. The crime remains the only unsolved case of air piracy in commercial aviation history.